footage that you see right now has been taken on a DSLR camera, also known as a digital single lens reflex. Specifically, the Canon EOS 70D. And yes, that is the one that I also use. So the footage that you are looking at right now is taken on a Canon 70D. But what was the first DSLR camera? Well, let's find out. Now, before I continue on, I'm just going to say that this video is strictly going to be talking about DSLR cameras. I know for a fact that there's cameras that was invented before DSLRs. I know that. I get that. But we're mainly going to be focusing on the DSLR part because that's basically what's the norm of today's society. So I do apologize that we're not talking about like the entirety of history of cameras. We're just going to be looking at one part, and that would be the DSLR side of it. Also, SLR cameras and DSLR cameras, they are two different things. What's an SLR, you may ask? Now, an SLR camera, also known as single lens reflex camera. Now, the differences between an SLR and a DSLR, you get like a more advantage if you use a DSLR because it's more digital versus an SLR. With a DSLR, you manage to have the options of that cool little flip screen that almost every vlogger uses. With an SLR, you don't get that. Also, SLR cameras are bad at filming, so unless you like filming everything in manual focus, but with a DSLR, if you were to record, it has autofocus for you, so you can film whatever the hell you want, and it will just autofocus everything for you. Also, with a DSLR, you get Wi-Fi! Alright, my guys, so we're going to be talking about the first camera, about the SLR, just so we can get some things out of the way. This is technically an SLR camera, the Canon EOS Rebel T5. Now, let's pop into... motherfucker! Basically, this camera right here is technically... and I should probably get a lens for this, actually. So I got a lens for it. It's actually not a shit one. So I don't know what the heck happened to this one, but it's bad. As you can see here, this thing does not have the flip screen, unlike my 70D has, as you can probably see there. Now this thing also does not have Wi-Fi. Now what I mean by Wi-Fi, I mean like I'm able to transfer all the photos from this camera either to my PC or to my phone. This camera does not have that. Also to mention, it does not have a mic jack. This thing also does not have autofocus while filming, so everything I do has to be manual focus, which is a pain to do. So, which is why most SLR cameras come and are better with photography-wise. Alright lads, so we are filming on the T5. Now keep in mind, this is the 70D, okay? As you can see, it has a mic jack, which I have to focus on it, which is a pain to try to get this thing to focus on. As you guys see there, it has a mic jack. Now you have learned semi of the basics of the T5.
We'll return after these messages.
Pretty fly with a 6-0 win, taking over YouTube, trying to get like him. Bro, fist to the face, can you keep it with a pace? And I'm never gonna switch. But can you do this? How's it going, bro? Gotta get it like this when you wanna hit a flow. Grind it like hoping I pop a top and never stop. Run up in the city and I'm never gonna flop. Tell me when to go, I'm like whenever. I'm done with this. Pass the mic to Edgar.
In 1975, a Kodak engineer named Steven Sasson invented the first digital still camera. Now, while Steven Sasson was inventing the first DSLR camera, surprisingly enough, there was no oopsies in the cause of it, or in the build of it. Just a little bit of background about Steven. He is an American electrical engineer and the inventor of the first self-contained digital camera. We kind of just went through that, but if not, there you go. He was born in July 4th, 1950. And he's still alive, so he's not dead yet. Hello there, guys. It is I, Official Bird here. Alright, so I do want to say that this video was edited and a lot of the video wasn't going to make sense beyond this point. So luckily I was able to take the information that I had and make into like a brief summary of the history of the DSLR cameras. And we were only going to be talking about that one topic, but as I continued on in the video, I continued to perpetuate a lot and kind of get off topic a little bit and lost track of the DSLR side, and I ended up talking about other parts of the camera that nothing to do with DSLR, or with a DSLR camera, so to say. So this original video was supposed to be, or the original video was 30 to 28 minutes long, but luckily I was able to summarize this down, and I managed to get it quite, hopefully, less than legit 28 minutes. So luckily I was able to grab the information I have and made a nice, sweet, short, brief history about it. So you don't have to worry about this video being too long, because I managed to cut it down in a nice, compact, little brief summary about the history of DSLR. So it shouldn't be too long. This is definitely a lot shorter than what it was before. So I'm gonna stop talking, and we're gonna continue. So yeah. The first digital single lens reflex, also known as a DSLR, camera was announced in 1999. Now, this camera had a 2.74 megapixel sensor. Now, which seems like absolutely nothing compared to what is available today. But at the time, digital cameras were still new and not common among consumers. Back then, film was still the norm. So my epic gamers, I'm gonna flex on you guys and show you that I have an old film camera. Yes, I know it's not a DSLR, but it's to show you guys how old film cameras look like back then. And I'm surprised that I actually have one. As I can, if I can open this up with one hand, I've done this before. This is how it looked like, voila. Yes, this thing's supposed to come out. I can't force it with one hand. I don't want to pull it all out, because if I were to do that, it would be a pain to take off. There's like a little lever here, and with that takes a photo. So that's pretty rad. I'm just gonna try to close this back now, because it's a pain to do so. The film comes in the back, so like back here is legit where the film would go. There's like an opening with yeah, this is one of the opening, and this back opens up, and you're able to put film in here, and yeah, pretty rad, not gonna lie. I know again it had nothing to do about DSLRs, but like I did say that film cameras was still the norm, and that's how it looked like. Unlike today where we have DSLRs. Hey look, it's my 80D. 80D, by the way. Thought I'd say that. Throughout the next few years, the technology in DSLRs began to improve as the technology inside them improved. More people began purchasing them 9 years after the first announcement of the first DSLR. They introduced the D90, a DSLR with video capabilities. However, this camera could not record full HD video and was only able to take pictures at a maximum resolution of, get this, 12 megapixels. Months go by and Canon announced the Canon EOS 5D Mark II, the first DSLR that had full HD capabilities. Not only did it produce professional quality videos. It also was able to take still images with a maximum resolution of 21.1 megapixels. The 5D Mark II started the DSLR videography movement. I'm not even joking when I say that, by the way. Even though it was technically the second DSLR that could record video. Ever since its release, studios have been using the Canon 5D Mark II to shoot all sorts of professional videos and stuff like that, including full-length TV episodes. Canon kept on balling. Just hit after hit. Every camera that was made had full HD capabilities ever since the introduction of the 5D Mark II. Here's a nice little compare and contrast, I could say. What helped Canon lead the DSLR videography movement is their previous experience with professionals and consumer video cameras. For example, like Nikon, on the other hand, had no previous experience producing any type of video camera. Which is why most of the videos made by a Nikon sucks. Right now, Canon cameras still offer more features and higher quality video than Nikon cameras. I mean, hell, Canon was able to be the first to shoot 1920 by 1080, while Nikon was still struggling to shoot 1080, let alone 720p. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sound biased. Both Nikon and Canon are great companies, but when it comes to shooting video, Canon is most likely the way to go. And I've said this once before and I'll say it again. Canon is better with filming, and Nikon is better with photography. And as usual, as time went on, the sales on both skyrocketed. So that was like kind of the brief history about DSLRs and kind of about Canon and Nikon in a weird sense. I kind of want to focus on DSLR given the fact that that's more widespread and a lot of people know what a DSLR is. Unless I were to do it about the entirety of cameras, which I think that would be way too much effort to do. Or, here, let me reword it, okay? It would be too complicated because there's so many camera companies and so many information spread out, it would just be overwhelming. So I didn't really do that. My original project about this was originally going to be like 38 minutes long. The problem with it was that you couldn't learn anything from it, which is why I kind of redid this, not really much in the last second, but like basically soon, like a bit sooner when the due date was ending, because I realized, no, you're not going to learn anything from this. So I decided to kind of start from scratch type thing, but keep it the things that were there and somewhat entertaining, because I don't want it to be boring. So I'm going to end off the video here. I know it's weird how it's a short video, we had like months to do, but keep in mind that the original idea or the original footage for this and edit just wasn't worth it. Looking back, I think of it as a waste of time, but not really, because I was able to see and be like, okay, yeah, no one's going to learn anything from this. So hopefully with this version, you managed to actually learn something from it, unlike before. So yeah, luckily I was able to dip it down to something that you can. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed re-editing this, but hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Peace.